3 rounds to go in the regular season of BSR AMSOIL Truck Series Season 7, and we head to our final road course of the season with a wide open wildcard shot at Glen. Born as a permanent facility in 1956 and taking its current form in 1992, this legendary facility in upstate New York has hosted the likes of Formula One, IndyCar, IMSA, and of course all of the NASCAR series. Tonight's course runs just under 2.5 miles with 7 turns plus that bus stop complex. The S is a crucial throttle control segment in this car. You're not quite onto the brakes, but you're very much backing off, and how you manage to control the throttle dictates your run down towards the inner loop for one of the best overtaking opportunities in the lap. Just a couple minutes left to go in practice. I'll bring up the times real quick, and it is Cameron Caldwell top of the board with Tristan Maher and Michael Kruger behind. All very closely matched, so we'll see how they perform in qualifying. Of course, Cameron Caldwell, with 4 wins in his career in the BSR AMSOIL Truck Series on road courses. Tristan Maher and Michael Kruger, 3 apiece. So the 12 races that we've run, as I need to turn my chat off, give me a second, apologies. We have just a 10 of our 12 drivers. 10 of our 12 wins have come from those 3 drivers. We bring iRacing back online. Let's have a quick look at our points. Because with 3 races during the regular season, this is the huge focus at this point. Rivers Jones leads Michael Ward by just 4 points at the top of the regular season standings. Both drivers running today, but Rivers Jones much faster in practice. And let's not forget, it's just been brought behind as well. Kerfan Maggio, both the 2 wins on the season. We're expecting Maggio to go for that 3rd, finish just 2nd at Sonoma behind Austin McGill, who's made a one-off appearance. But Jonathan Jeremiah, Cameron Caldwell sat 7th or 8th on the potential playoff bubble. I'm sure they would be delighted to pick up a win to solidify themselves as a wild card in this season. I'll come back to that as the race goes on. A reminder of the wild card rules: you need to run at least 9 of 12 regular season races to be eligible, and then if you are not in the top 8 but you're one of the next 2 drivers with wins, you will find yourself in those 9th and 10th spots in the playoffs. Qualifying underway, and I think let's go on board with let's go with Cameron Caldwell. Go on. I'm sure he would love the TV time. Rolling off in... What is this painting? Let's have a look at this real quick. It's a very good looking painting, I've got to say. The 2 times Clockhouse machine and Chevrolet Silverado. Cider house. I don't know why I said Clockhouse. It must be a alcohol brand of some kind. Cider. Okay. Let's go on board with Cameron Caldwell. Tell you what, let's give you a treat. Let's go out onto the horizontal ticker and give you a look at that steering wheel as we start first lap of qualifying for Cameron Caldwell. Down to 2nd gear for turn 1. use as much of that inside curve as possible to track out to the edge of this curb, and then up into third. Last time being second in the lap, now fourth, and again just trying to tiptoe it next to the Armco on the way through turns 3 and 4, and now foot down, pick the braking point for the bus stop about the 500 in a stock car, and then hop it over the curbs as much as possible. Cameron doing a great job using as much racetrack as possible. Coast down the hill in third gear, get on the power early. You can track out very wide if you want to. I take it back, Cameron was in second gear down into the carousel. Different approaches available. Second gear through turn 6 as well. Can track out wide, but you want to be back to the left-hand side to open up turn 7, the final corner. Michael Pruder's the first one on the board, has a 1:12.3. Fantastic lap from him. What does Cameron Caldwell respond with? A 1:12.8, but it's not going to count, it looks like. And I think he backed off a little bit there. Not sure where the off-track came, maybe into the bus stop. Well, a very quick lap from Cameron Caldwell will leave him empty-handed and fighting to get back up through the field for the rest of qualifying. We'll see what the rest of the drivers are able to respond with. Tristan Maher goes second fastest, just a 1/10 of a second or less than that off Michael Pruder at the top of the board. Jonathan Jordan's by a third place. Zachary Wareham in fourth. Bit of a new name to the series this season. Stephen Maggio jumps up into third. Remember, he finished second at Sonoma. I believe does not have Austin McGill to contend with here, so this could be a great chance for Maggio to finally get that road course win that he missed out on a few weeks ago. Cameron Caldwell across the line for the second lap. Does he get one in this time? Yes, he does, and it's good for fourth place. Great recovery from the number 12. You normally expect that second lap to be slower than the first, with the tyres wearing in. Here we have a debutant to the series, Bailey Thompson, who I have managed to pull from some of the series to run in the BSR AMSOIL Truck Series. Of course, loves road course racing, was raced just a few hours ago in the supercars at Long Beach, and now getting into a Ford F-150 around the wonderful Watkins Glen circuit. Currently finds himself in 9th place, now down to 10th. Will try and improve as they come to the line to finish off their second lap. Looks like they do find an improvement, but it's not enough to move up. Who does move up is Nathan Fuller up into 4th place. Nathan Fuller, I believe, one of the drivers who could really use that wildcard spot, is currently in 10th place, so technically into the playoffs right now, but a position that is under threat from a potential wildcard driver from knocking him out of contention. See what Tony McCorkle is up to now. First lap, good in the 10th position with a 1:13.2. Is there an improvement to find in the number 2 machine to go up to the top of the board with just 4 minutes left in the qualifying order? Not quite. 10th slower, and we expect that from the tyres. And it will be 10th place for Cody McCorkle, as I believe that could be most of our field complete. That's well Fidel Fabian, who's still turning some laps, but ultimately is done with the qualifying session. Down in 19th, so very much using this time, I think, as additional practice. Getting the iron much quicker on that last lap than the qualifying lap set. So I think a driver who's just showed up and is looking to get warm and work from the back of the field as sharp as possible today. It's going to be an exciting race here. There's going to be potential strategy afoot. It is a 75-minute race. A timed race, as is customary for road courses in the AMSOIL Truck Series. The projection on how many laps that will be is maybe 60 to 62. There's a little bit of variance there, depending on how quickly the tyres are going to fall off. And crucially, the fuel tank is expected to go about 28 to 32 laps. I'll pull the graphic up. I know that the lap count is not quite going to be accurate because it's taking it from the qualifying session. But there it is. 28 to 30 laps, 34 to 38 minutes. That's my estimate for what that's going to be. Maybe that's let's say 34 to 39 minutes, actually. Get that updated. But it's going to be very difficult. 60 to 62 laps expected. That's marginal between a 1 and a 2 stop. It's safe to say, if you want to try and stretch the tyres that whole way, and the question is going to be, do drivers maybe just want to take the 2 stop, save themselves the stress of the fuel save, and get themselves an extra set of boots with about 20 minutes to go in the race? There is quite a long and slow pit lane at Watkins Glen, 40 mile an hour, the pit speed limit here. And you come off to the right on the exit of the final corner. But it could be worth it. We'll see what drivers have opted for. Again, all drivers expected to make their first pit stop after the end of stage 1, which comes after 20 minutes. A lap that completes, first lap completes after 20 minutes, will award stage points, but will not bring out a caution. Again, another wonderful thing about road courses in this league. I kind of wish NASCAR would just go that way overall, but alas. And as it comes to the final 30 seconds of the qualifying session, it does not look like we're going to have any change at the top of the board. So by 7/1000ths of a second, Tristan Maher is going to fend off Michael Kruger for that pole position, with Stephen Maggio not far behind at all. This is going to be an exciting one. Watkins Glen's always a great track because of how relatively simple it is for a road course. It leaves the battle options wide open. And I think any of this top 8, maybe, has a great chance at taking home the race win here. Checkered flag flies in qualifying, and we will head over to our 75 minutes of action down on the racetrack. Let's get into our qualifying grid here. As I mentioned, Tristan Maher taking the pole by just 7/1000ths of a second over the Chicano Motorsports teammate of Michael Kruger, who will start on the outside of row number 1. Stephen Maggio behind in the Go Int car, just half a tenth off the pole sit, with Nathan Fuller alongside in the number 4. Rivers Jones and Cameron Caldwell will make up row number 3. Both drivers in the playoffs as it stands, but looking to solidify that, I'm sure. With Jonathan Jordensmeyer and Alex Kerfen in the same boat, going to be starting alongside on row number 4. Zachary Ware and Cody McCourt will round out your top 10, with Justin Raw lined up alongside teammate Michael Walls in row number 6. Jamie Wright will start in row 7 alongside series debutant Bailey Thompson in P14. Justin Durand and Levi Poland rounding out the top 16 drivers. Andrew Davis, Josh Coppenall And then Phil Fabian, your final qualifying driver. Behind them, you have Ryan Bodie, Shane O'Neill, and Stephen Thornton. Round out your 22-car grid tonight at the Glen. I am so excited to see how these drivers are going to handle this. Again, strategy questions from the moment we get going here. Are drivers going to try and fuel save to go for that one-stop strategy, or are they going to prefer taking the extra set of tyres? Remember, they've got 5 available. I'm not expecting that we're going to need all of them. I've got to say, it's fitting that Tristan Maher's wearing that Pratt Miller livery in the number 17. Known for their excellence in the AMSOIL Tech Sports Car Championship. They'll come to the Glen for a 6-hour race in June. Of course, right now competing at Sebring International Raceway in the 12 hour. Just over 2 hours to go. That's going to be a fun one to hop to as soon as this race is done, to watch how that one's going to end. But it is going to be Tristan Maher flying the flag up here in New York a little bit early and taking the pole position of first blood in the race tonight. With any luck, this graphic should work now. No, it will not. Let's hide that one. Top right seems to have the estimate of 62. That's based on full qualifying pace the whole way. I'm not expecting 63. I think it's going to cap out at 62, but still a lot of action to get through here. And the race just long enough to really put that fuel number into question. But not there any breaks from here on out, folks. Make sure you got a drink next to you. Make sure you're ready for excitement and some top quality road course racing. Just 4 corners we're going to be going for just over an hour. No stopping. I believe the initial start is going to be on the green flag here. Could be wrong on that. We'll see what ends up happening. Tristan Maher will lead the field to the green as the pace truck pulls off. And we are underway here at Watkins Glen. Already, Michael Kruder with a great run off the initial start. He's going to try and sweep around the outside into turn number 1 and will manage it. Immediately, Michael Kruder moves up into the race lead. Michael Kruder, I want to mention, is not going to be eligible for the wildcard spot in the playoffs, but could point his way in. He's not far off at all. And a big win here could be huge in making that happen. We are going to be nearly 3 wide into the bus stop. Rivers Jones goes for the move, has to back out of it. Alex Kerfen behind, also going for a peak. But we slot into single file, and we are going to be safely through the bus stop for the first time tonight. Justin Rourke, currently our biggest gainer, up 3 positions, but of course, the most important gain of the race so far, Michael Kruder started second and immediately has taken the race lead. A great reaction, a great move around the outside of turn number 1. Start lap number 2 and the lap estimate updates in the top left corner. I think now it's over exaggerating for, of course, that slow rolling start. It is a time certain race for the Truck Series races on the road courses. You see just how close they're cutting it towards that Armco. The inside of that curve can be a little bit rough now for open wheelers, maybe some sports cars, as the 3D curbing got introduced to this track a couple of seasons ago. But for the trucks, there's no concern whatsoever. Kruger and Maher, the two teammates, trying to break away from the field a little bit, as Kruger actually a little bit of latency issues will come back into distance. And we are going to focus on this fight for third place right now because there's so much pressure being put on here. Caldwell started sit up to fifth after Rivers-Jones had that moment coming towards the bus stop, and a aggressive switchback and defense from Maggio trying to fend off Fuller, who's gotten to the inside now on the exit of turn number 1, set up the number 51 and gets through into third position. But this is just backing up the field. They are fighting a little bit too much, and it's bringing in Cameron Caldwell, bringing in Rivers-Jones, and just letting Kruger and Maher work together a little bit right now. So by about half a second, and they're just going to move away from the field to now a tune of nearly 3 seconds. Cameron Caldwell tried to have a peek on the inside of Stephen Maggio, not able to make it stick just yet. First 20 minutes of this race are a sprint to pick up those stage points, 10 for the stage win. I believe a playoff point added on top as well. It's going to be crucial for these drivers who are on the edge of the playoff bubble, and especially Michael Kruger, who can't get in just from a win. He needs to do it on points. As I'm just going to quickly double check the rules that he is eligible for the playoffs with 4 races missed. The fact that he's that high up on the board, even he has 4 races missed, is really impressive. And to confirm, the 75% rule will only apply for the wildcard rule. So if Michael Kruger can get into ideally the top 8, but potentially that 10th spot with the second wildcard currently going unused, he could find his way into the playoffs despite missing 4 races at the start of the season. So we're going to stay focused on this battle for what is now 4th place. A great little fight brewing between Maggio and Caldwell as Nathan Fuller starts to walk away a little bit. As we finish off lap number 4 of this race and hit that 5-minute mark. So expecting the stage about lap 16. Pace is in the low 113s. Drivers doing a great job keeping the wick up as we go from a qualifying situation into the race. We'll see what they run at the end of this opening stage and whether they decide to opt for an early pit stop and go on to that 2-stop strategy, or whether, if this is now working, no it is not, whether they try and fuel save a little bit to make it on just 1 pit stop. 62 laps expected. The fuel can stretch to 32, but it's not going to be pleasant to do it that way. Drivers have a decision to make at this early stage of the race. If you want to do the fuel save, you've got to be working on it now. You cannot scramble at the end. You'll be too far behind the 8 ball. And truthfully, if it's me, I'm thinking the 2-stop is going to be a good option here. Track temp at 106 Fahrenheit, air temp partly cloudy, 73. Wonderful August afternoon here in Watkins, Glen, New York. I'm going to make it easy on myself. I'm going to appear at about 25 minutes, around like 20, split the race into thirds, and just try and use the pace in the tyres to work my way through. Speaking of pace, Michael Kruger has done a great job pulling away from Tristan Maher. This is the battle for the race lead. And you can see just the gap that's opened up. Gained 0.6 of a second last time by, and the number 41 looking to set sail at the front of the field from the number 17. of Tristan Maher. And now 17 could fall towards the clutches of Fuller and Maggio, who are just about a second behind. Tristan maybe struggling. Tristan maybe going for the fuel save. I'm going to actually hop on board with the number 17 and see what we can hear. I'm also sure about that into turn 1. That did not sound like a fuel save. Sort of lift point. But let's see, maybe Kuda's just that quick right now. Gains another 0.3 of a second last time by. As 17 is looking to fend off Nathan Fuller just that little bit. About equal last time by. Yeah, I think he's full push at this point. I think these drivers are not too concerned about stretching to lap 31 on this tank. I think if you are going to make 2 pit stops, it's pretty no-brainer to take the tyres as you go. You're going to be taking most of a tank when you make those stops. The other option, of course, would be to run the tank dry, take a second set with another full tank, and then maybe splash and dash to get to the end of the race. But that's a really aggressive strategy that I just don't think is worth it, but given you're already losing so much time to go down pit lane. If you want to try and make it on 2 sets of tyres, I think the fuel save is going to be the way to do it. And of course, as the tyres wear, you're going to be backing it down more, and that fuel save becomes just that little bit easier. Now it looks like Jamie Wright already down pit lane towards tail end of the field. Started 13th. Maybe an early retirement for the 89 to pick up some championship points. Maybe finish off the day. Stephen Thornton also close to being picked up by our leaders here. For too long. Some troubles towards the back of the field early on. See how much the driver's throwing it in to the inner loop there. You see as the drivers fly past the armco barrier. We've so helpfully placed camera on. It's a great shot. It's always great to see how close these drivers are willing to push it over there. This battle for the lead is not, or for third place I suppose, is not quite kicking off just yet. Our patience being shown. Not burn up the tyres is a crucial thing in a race like this. I'm going to hop back actually to what is a battle for 8th place. Justin Raw leads Alex Kerfen and Zachary Wareham. Jumped both of those drivers in the opening of this race. And now Kerfen looking to try and set up a move back around the number 76, get back to the 8th place position where he started. Justin Watt started 11th, also behind Cody McCorkle, and has picked off all 3 of them. Hoping to pick, hasn't really found much pace after that, as that's a truck going straight on. That is the lapped truck that we mentioned of Stephen Thornton, getting well out of the way of our race leaders. and will rejoin behind this patch for P12. But as these drivers fight, Zachary Wareham not quite able to capitalize there. I'm seeing a big streak of red on my timing board, and that means that Fuller, Maggio, Caldwell, and Jones now back under a blanket within a second, all four of them. And this could be where drivers try and start making moves for the end of that opening stage. Again, we're expecting the stage to be maybe lap 17. When it's scored, it's 20 minutes. The end of whatever lap that happens to be, that these drivers will be scoring those additional points. Looks like Nathan Fuller's struggling through the S's there, but isn't to carry the speed just well enough. Stephen Maggio can do nothing but slot in behind and try and set up a move. You got to really be patient with how you get to the door of a driver here. There's only medium and high speed corners at least this layout of Watkins Glen. No really hard braking zones to send one up the inside. Turn 1 would be your best opportunity, but even so, you're rolling through pretty quickly there. So you do a great job to get maybe a switchback, or maybe a little bit of a mistake as Fuller grazes the wall with the door of that number 4 to get yourself in a position to attack, as that is sideways. That is Zachary Wareham with a slide out the final corner. We'll try and get a quick look at that one. It's coming through the final corner in the wheel tracks of Alex Kerfen. And, I mean, the truck pointed in the right direction for a long time. I think just maybe gets to 100% throttle a little bit early and tries to hold it, where will rejoin in P13. The truck looks mostly undamaged, so we'll be able to recover from that one. But some warm tyres and, of course, falls out of that battle that was giving him, I believe, a stage point at that point of the pack. We'll focus back to our race leaders again. This is Fuller and Maggio for 3rd place. Actually, I'll tell you what. From the nose of Tristan Maher, Michael Cruz is looking an awful lot bigger than he was. To come towards the bus stop now within half a second again. And the 17 has just been chipping away using that long run pace, I think. Letting Kruger run away a little bit and use up a little bit off the tyre. Now the 17 is back in contention. As a little bit further down the order, let's see, focus on... Let's actually just focus on this battle. It's very close right now. Caldwell's fallen back towards Rivers Jones. And Stephen Maggio looking for a way around once again. It's pulling us into the wall, but so does Maggio a little bit. He's going to give him the better run. He doesn't quite catch as much of it. They're going to be side by side now down in towards turn number 1. The 51 has the inside line. Can Fuller hand it around the outside? Can they avoid contact, crucially? They do, and this maybe gives Fuller a switch opportunity, but not quite. And actually, Cameron Caldwell going to look to follow through. We are side by side through the S's. A little bit of contact between the two of them, and this is going to be Caldwell just having to slot in and now fend off from Rivers Jones, who's going to fly through and up into P5. Just that little wall contact from Nathan Fuller threw a whole bunch of marbles down the track, as it were. Proverbial ones, not real ones. And in the end, Maggio gets the move done. Fuller manages to hold on from the other trucks behind, and Cameron Caldwell went for a move into turn number 2 and is going to fall back a position as a result. And as we cross the line, let's go on board with Michael Kruger real quick. As we cross the line, 2 minutes and 48 left in the stage. We're going to have 3 more laps before those points get awarded. End of 17 will be when that gets awarded. And look at how close this battle is again. Tristan Maher putting so much pressure on number 41 at the tail end of stage 1. They may be teammates. I'm not sure if Kruger's really thinking about a spot in the playoffs here, given that he's been running a sort of part-time schedule. And it could end up being that these two decide to go at it and put a show on for the rest of the field, really. Head-to-head for the race wins. Right now it looks like no one quite has enough to challenge these two. Maggio is going to try and catch up now he's been unleashed from that battle with Nathan Fuller. Jones and Caldwell, of course, still trying to pick their way around, and Caldwell getting bitten a little bit from that. But with 2 laps left going in the stage, it's a 5-second lead from Kruger and Maher back to Stephen Maggio, and another second back to Nathan Fuller. As Jordensmeyer, I believe currently 7th in the regular season points, disappears from this plane of existence for a few seconds. And then no caution will fly at the end of the stage. No incentive to pit early. Cameron Caldwell goes for a look there, but backs out of it, of course. Didn't really have it set up. As Shane O'Neill has had a problem, I believe. Or at least a slow pit stop as Toad. I'm going to try and do a replay real quick of this. Got rolling from the pit box. And then, I'm not quite sure, maybe he's had something come down. Jamie Wright is our first retirement of the race. Maybe Shane O'Neill is going to opt to be the second. But a confusing tow from pit lane there as we start the final lap of the opening stage. Kruger and Maher, half-second separated for the front of it. Stephen Maggio is closing in. They gained half a second that last lap. And could be a threat for the overall race result, but Photon is battle for 3rd place in the stage because it is very hard fought between Maggio, Fuller, between Fuller, Jones and Caldwell. 7 points for whoever leads this pack to the line. 5 for whoever comes in 3rd best. Fuller and Jones are going to try and put on something into the final corners, but I don't think Jones can quite set it up at this point. Michael Kruger will cross the line to finish out stage 1 and take home those 10 points in the regular season standings. And it will be Nathan Fuller who fends off Rivers Jones for now and takes home 7 for the positions. Stage number 1 officially drawn to a close. These are your results. It is Michael Kruger ahead of Tristan Maher, Stephen Maggio, Nathan Fuller and Rivers Jones for your top 5. Behind them, Cameron Caldwell, winningest road course driver in the Truck Series, currently running 6th place ahead of Jonathan Jordensmeyer, Justin Raw, Alex Kerfan and Cody McCorkle. We stay green as Stephen Thornton really struggling, really just trying to get some laps clocked in here. Is going to be parked in the bus stop to let drivers by once again. Trying to be as polite as possible as a lap car. We've got to give credit where it's due there. But as tight as that battle is for 4th place, I think we've got to keep an eye on Tristan Ma, who's been hard charging for quite a while now. Gained half a second last lap. He's going to try and find a way around his teammate and back up to the race lead. Chicano Motorsports, of course, both of these drivers. Alonso not on track tonight, but I'm sure excited to see what his drivers are able to do. It's just a couple of tenths. Just going to try and set this one up. But knowing rule 1 of racing is to not hit your teammate. And we'll have that in mind. I'm sure very glad that these lap trucks be more polite than the BMW team were back at Daytona in the roll laps. They've been very cordial so far, but that's actually where the next truck to be lapped, and then Josh Coppin all about 10 seconds further up the road. Oh, and there's the call. Michael Kruder is in a pit from the race lead. Maybe he feels he has burnt up the tyres a little bit too much and commits early to that 2-stop strategy. Cameron Caldwell will follow him in from that lead pack, going for that undercut as Fuller and Jones continue to scrap behind. We'll keep an eye on that fight. But I think this is a... I'm not sure for Kruder. I mean, he did have the race lead, but of course didn't want to really get into a fight with his teammate for that one on track. But for Cameron Caldwell, a great call, in my opinion, to get out of traffic, commit to that 2-stop if you think it's going to be the correct strategy, and go for that fantastic outlap to try and jump both of them if you have the pace, or if they extend a lot longer. Michael Kruder on the way out of the pits. This is the downside of making an early pit stop. You may come out in traffic that you've got to deal with. Cameron Caldwell seems to be in a nice clear pocket, but Michael Kruder has a couple of trucks up the road. One of them, I think, is going to be the lapper and get out of the way. So it's just about how he navigates Andrew Davis, who's still out on an old set of tyres. Tristan Ma, Stephen Maggio pit. Rivers Jones, Nathan Fuller as well. And Rivers Jones speeds on pit entry. Let's try and see if we can get a quick replay of that one. I see that's alongside Nathan Fuller there, but ultimately a little bit too quick to make that happen. Alex Kerfman pulls in as well. Jordan Meyer, Raw, McCorkle, debutant Bailey Thompson, who has been making a good run through the field. Currently back under pressure from Mika Walls, though, is going to stay out. Let's focus with Michael Kruder, who just jumps Tristan on that outlap. Great work from them. Now the question is Cameron Caldwell. Where does he come out of pit lane? Is he behind Fuller again? And Stephen Maggio, but of course Rivers Jones still out of that picture. And I tell you what, Caldwell has a great run on that undercut. Could try and attack Nathan Fuller here into the bus stop and use the momentum to get around. But mixed results for Cameron Caldwell on that undercut there. It was going to be difficult to pit Fuller, given that he was 2 trucks ahead. Rivers Jones was the real target, and the pressure that put on Jones did ultimately force a mistake, and he's going to fall all the way down to 16th place as he comes out of pit lane, struggling to stay on the lead lap. And a little battle with Fidel Fabian, in fact, comes out just ahead. And there you see behind, that's Jordan's guy who's yet to pit. Got 7 trucks, I believe, who have stayed out here. We'll pull up these stint numbers. You see Jordan's Meyer, Rourke, Corkle, Thompson, Walls, Davis, and Poland stayed out, as well as Stephen Thornton, of course. But I'm not sure strategy is the concern for the 40s. I think that's more about being polite to the rest of the drivers on the track today. Michael Truder still fending off Tristan, who, of course, does now have 1 lap pressure tyres. But these two, I think, are going to be smart to not get into too much of a fight here. There's Andrew Davis falls back as though that's the reason why Stephen Maggio and Nathan Fuller are charging through the field here. Davis is going to stay out, extend this stint a little bit. And let's not forget, not trying to discredit any drivers here. But if you are running that little bit slower on pace, that's going to help your fuel number a little bit. Oftentimes, the way that you get all the way up to the top of the board is by really pushing, and that is going to burn up a little bit more fuel. And for some of these drivers, they might be able to extend by pacing themselves a little bit. I ultimately think that Kruder and Maho especially are going to be able to waltz past these remaining drivers who might be going for the one-stop strategy. We've got this fight, a 3-way fight now between McCorkle, Bailey Thompson, currently up 10 positions and looking to stay out even longer, and Michael Walls. But there you see in the background, that's Michael Kruder and Tristan Maher in a huge fight. As Andrew Davis, Leopold continue to fall down the order on those older tyres. Got to imagine a pit stop's not far away for those two. And in fact, the number 90 does bring it down pit lane here, will take a stop, and will settle into that 2-stop strategy. And here we go, Bailey Thompson going for the inside into the bus stop for what is currently P3. Oh, and just about turns across the nose of Cody McCorkle. Amazingly gets it pointed back in the right direction. Cody gets back into 3rd place here, and this is going to bring Kruder and Maho right into the fight. Mika Wall's also looking to capitalize. This could be the time for Bailey to get off those tires and onto a fresh set. Maybe trying to play that strategy gamble. Was running 14th at the race start. Is going to stay out and try and make something work. Again, series debut, looking to impress with a little bit of strategy. He's going to again go for the inside of Cody McCorkle. It's how a bit of a slow speed corner, a lot easier to make that dive happen, and does clear. But here come Michael Kruder, Tristan Maher. Cody's going to get out of the way. Not thinking a fight there is sensible. And now they're going to get to work. They're going to be bottled up a little bit, I think, through the bus stop. Or maybe not. Michael Kruder might go for this one. Has to settle back in. This has to be frustrating for the 41, who, as much as it's a teammate behind, is going to feel that pressure, and is also going to feel the pressure of Stephen Maggio, who's closing in to about 2.5 seconds. And there you see it, the 17 now trying to put the pressure on. Kruder, I think, is going to be forced into the move on the inside of turn number 6. Going to have to then sweep around the outside of 7. But actually, he's going to clear Bailey Thompson. Tristan Maher also going to be able to follow through. And now I'm sure the two Shana Motorsports drivers praying that these drivers do stick to the one-stop and give Stephen Maggio and Cameron Caldwell and Nathan Fuller just as much of a hard time. Maggio files through on Mika Walls and Cody McCorkle, who are falling back a little bit. Down to 7th and 8th place. And the gap between Kruder and Maggio just about 3 seconds right now. lap estimate of 8 to 60. This could make that fuel safe strategy a little bit more viable. You're looking at just 2 30-lap stints to get from here to the end of the race. Let's follow on board actually with Stephen Maggio. The GOAT Racing driver, as he tries to get around Bailey Thompson. Overlay, settles into position. And Jordensmeyer and Roar at the front of the field also yet to make a pit stop. They might be able to pull off this one-stop strategy and put some pressure on Kruder and Maher, who are just up the road here. Maggio, 6-lap old tyres. Bailey Thompson, 27-lap old, of course, started the race on this set of Goodyears. There's been a meatball for Rivers Jones. We'll have to look back at what happened there in just a few moments' time. Stephen Maggio has run out of tyre a little bit, maybe, and is really struggling to get this move done on the 27. Oh, and a great move to the outside there. Finds the momentum through the outside of turn number 7. Thompson's going to have the inside here, but he's going to think better of going for a late braking maneuver. He's going to settle back in. Cameron Caldwell need to move on Mika Walls here as well. But we are going to have a look at what's happened to Rivers Jones as we go on board with the number 18, who's had a horrid day. Oh! On the exit of turn number 5. Let's get on the power coming onto that rougher surface over the curb. And a huge hit into the Armco on the left-hand side. He's going to get out of the way of Alex Kerfen there, I believe. Or no, Viva Poland, that is. And he's going to have to pull it down pit lane to fix that left front wheel. And that, I think, could be day done for the number 18 here. Again, a driver who came into today as the points leader is likely going to hand that over to Walls now. But he's still in a great position to go into the playoffs, of course. Still have these 6 drivers out on their starting set of tyres. Stephen Maggio got around, and Nathan Fuller is the one stuck behind the old tyre runner of Bailey Thompson. Gap between Maggio and Maher down to about a second. We'll have to follow that battle very soon indeed, as it could be a 3-way fight for what is turned into the net race lead here. These drivers just 10 seconds behind Jordensmeyer and Roar. I think we'll be able to make up the extra pit stop, but very clearly the drivers going long going to be able to make it on fuel here as they start lap number 30. In fact, I take that. In fact, no, Justin Roar continues on for lap number 30. I put them in great stead as Bailey Thompson to the inside of turn 7 is maybe going to pit here. And is going to pit. Come down pit lane. I think could be a lap early on fuel. Might have more work to do in the second stint. But that is going to release Nathan Fuller and Cameron Caldwell. But more importantly, look at this fight now between Tristan Maher and Stephen Maggio. Tristan, of course, still tucked underneath the rear bumper of Michael Kruder. The GOAT Racing driver in the 51. Pressuring, and in fact, Tristan Maher might go for the move here. They're going to be side by side to the bus stop. This isn't going to help either of them fend off the Toyota Tundra behind. And now it very much is a 3-way fight. Tristan can't get the move done, puts the pressure on Michael Kruder, but just opens the door for the number 51. And this is now a very close battle. I think this time by we're expecting Jordan's Meyer and Raw in, and this is going to turn into a straight-up three-way fight for the race lead as we hit the halfway point in the race, lap 30 of 60. Maybe 61, we'll see. Tristan goes to the inside of turn 7 again, but doesn't quite get the nose lined up. And now, number 51. Looking to the inside, this is now your battle for the race lead. Jordan's Meyer and Raw down on pit lane. And if you thought that road course racing could get a little bit dull, drivers get spread out, well, I mean, look at what we've got in store for you right now. Halfway through this race, still a lot of strategy to play out. These three drivers under a blanket, less than 0.3 of a second between all of them. And the question is, how friendly are the teammates going to be to try and work together to fend off Maggio, and how much can they do, given the pace that the 51s had since getting clear of Nathan Fuller and, of course, those not those lap trips, but those trips on an alternate strategy. And most of the field committed to 2 stops here. A few drivers going for the 1 stop. Jordan's Meyer, the lead driver of those, as Maher has a moment through turn 1. Holds on to it. Great job there from the number 17, but it opens the door for Stephen Maggio, who does not need a second invitation, gets up into second place. Let's try and get a quick replay of that from on board. Just a little bit deep, it looks like. Gets it checked up, maybe an extra downshift. Slide. And great work from the 17 to keep it in the right direction. But it's going to give up that position, and now Michael Kruger, with no defense from Stephen Maggio, has to fight this one-on-one. It's Caldwell and Fuller, again, not far behind at all, within 5 seconds of our race leader. Let's very quickly bring up those stint lengths again. All the drivers on double digits, very much committed to the 2-stop strategy. Jordan's Meyer, Raw, Michael Walls, certain to make it on the 1-stop if they so choose. Thompson, McCorkle, Davis are going to struggle a little bit to make the fuel save work in this second stint of the race. Going to have to go 31 laps. We think potentially 32, depending on whether we get the white flag at the start of lap 60. And in fact, Stephen Maggio, who voted back onto the on-track fight, has fallen off the back of Michael Huda a little bit, and is back under pressure from Tristan Maher. Driver's still running close, of course, but Maggio maybe doesn't quite have the move lined up on the number 41. He might wait for just a few more laps till about lap 40, which is when we expect these drivers to make their second and final pit stop of the race. I'm excited to see what Jordan Meyer and Justin Rourke can do on this alternate strategy. And to some extent, Bailey Thompson. But those two had such good pace in that opening stint. We're running really away from the field of drivers who were running that strategy. I don't think it's going to be enough to overhaul this top 5, but Jordan Meyer might solidify a solid 6th place finish with that strategy tool, just a few seconds behind Alex Kerfen, who has one more stop to make. And of course, those drivers on the freshest tyres right now just stopped a couple of laps ago. Winded back up, and Kruger a little bit wide through the carousel entry. Manages to fend off Maggio, and of course he's going to focus on the exit with that. But Maggio just a couple of tenths down right now. is going to try and set this one up. Just hunting for any room possible, Maggio. Into the outside of turn 1 on exit. Couldn't quite find the line. Of course, it's going to move to the outside of turn 2 as well, which is going to be a very tricky line to hold. Tristan, of course, keeping both of these drivers honest, in a position to capitalize on any mistake or any even contact that's made between the two of them. Yeah, and we saw Cameron Caldwell go for a move and get picked off by Rivers Jones through the S's in the opening stint of the race. Caldwell back into tension, just 4 seconds off our race leader, with Nathan Fuller trying to guide the 12 up to this fight and make it a 5-car battle. All drivers on very similar strategies. Caldwell and Kruder pit a lap earlier than the other 3, but all with 1 stop left to pay. And there's some element of wanting to be as predictable as possible behind another driver, to be able to catch the element of surprise, to suddenly send a move into turn number 1 where maybe they're not expecting to have to defend. It'd be a great way to get a move done. It's one train of thought. The other one is to be as chaotic as possible in the mirrors. Really make them think about you more than the road ahead and try and force a mistake that you can then capitalize on. Great thing about road racing in cars as difficult as these, that latter strategy, really a viable option. It's so difficult just to run your own race here, let alone fend off the pressure of a driver like Stephen Maggio behind. Let's not get Nathan Fuller 3.5 seconds off our race lead here. Catching just a couple of tenths a lap here. As wide goes Michael Kruder into the wall, in fact. Stephen Maggio backs off there. I'm not sure if there was contact because I didn't see any contact. We'll try and get a replay of what happened there as Cameron Caldwell pits now. There's about 24 laps to go in this race to get out of the wake of Nathan Fuller, who has been backed up into this fight now. Tristan Marr has run away, and I've got to see if there was contact there, because I'm surprised Maggio didn't pounce on that opportunity to take the race lead. Here we go. And it was a shot to the rear from Stephen Maggio to put Michael Kruder in the wall. That does explain that one. Went for the switch back into 7, but Kruder didn't open the door as wide as Maggio was expecting. Damage done to the number 41. Number 51 knowing to address the position to, I mean, in the act of fairness in one sense, but also to avoid picking up the wrath of the stewards. But it does invite Nathan Fuller in. He's going to make the move to 3rd place, might actually get up to 2nd place. They're going to be close to 3 wide. They are going to be 3 wide into the S's. Kruder has to back out. Now Maggio has to back out and Nathan Fuller up into 2nd place. But this has been a slow few laps for this trio. Cameron Caldwell, I think with a great call ultimately, to dive down pit lane when he did. Tristan Marr, of course, in the best position of all, 4 seconds up the road and leading the race. But Nathan Fuller once again has cleared some traffic. We've seen what pace he has had. Stephen Maggio Might have a little bit of damage to the nose from that initial contact with Michael Kruger, but I think the contact with the barrier is going to be the bigger damage to the 41. These two can now try and work together to get forward, but just a mistake on an overtake attempt from Maggio is going to wave Fuller through now. And actually, Tristan pits from the race lead, had so much clean air, but is going to make that call. And that is going to give Nathan Fuller the race lead as a spinner out of turn number 1. I think that's Fidel Fabian, who's going to be slow up through the S's. It's going to dive to the right-hand side to let by Fuller and Maggio. Kruger's not going to be too far behind in following. But I'm surprised that Tristan's made that call so early. About 22 laps to go, there's no reason to not use the clean air you have. It's going to be worth a little bit more than the fresh tyres. And you're going to have to run about 22 laps to the end now. Just 27 minutes to go in this race if we're looking at the clock. We're expecting 61 laps, but close to it being 60 as well. And we'll see whether Fuller and Maggio respond to that pit stop that Tristan Maher made. And scratch that, more importantly, Caldwell's jumped Tristan in the pit cycle. Maybe that's why he felt the need to pit so early. Fuller and Kruger do pit. Maggio stays out for a little bit longer. But Caldwell with an incredible outlap, it looks like. Or first couple laps of the final stint. And now Tristan's got all the work to do to get around the number 12 and try and get back to the net race lead. We'll see where Fuller and Kruger cycle out as well. They are just stopped in their pit box right now, taking, I assume, 4 tyres. There's no reason not to. These drivers both took 4 as well. These drivers are going to clear Kruger and Fuller pretty handily. Fuller actually had a slow stop, it looks like. Or, in fact, no, Kruger had a fast stop. Kruger's taking 2 tyres. The number 41 trying to deal himself back into this race after that unfortunate incident with Stephen Maggio. Of course, he redressed it. Maggio did, but it put him behind the 8 ball. And Kruger's way to try and fight that back is to go onto 2 tyres. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, but in the meantime, as Stephen Maggio pulls it down pit lane here, Tristan Maher has to try and make this one work. This is for net position. This is a fight on track. Both drivers making their final pit stop. Rohr and Jordensmeyer up the road have also made their final stop. Tristan goes to the outside, loose off of the curb on the exit of turn 6. Can't quite hold it and stops back in behind the number 12. Alex Kerfan also pulls into pit lane. And so, for our leaders here, this is going to be a net battle. Jordensmeyer 8 seconds up the road from Rohr. Caldwell and Maher 10 seconds behind. There goes Stephen Thornton again. And I can see one of these drivers using Rohr as a pick here. Running about a second slower on those older tyres than these two who have just bottled on a fresh set of 4 Goodyears. And how they navigate the number 76 could be crucial in their finishing order here. Further back, sorry, Stephen Maggio's in the wall. Let's try and catch a replay of what's happened to number 51. Racing with Nathan Fuller, it looks like. And Hannah, let's go on board with the number 4 and see if there was contact there to cause that piece of contact, or whether Maggio just got loose on the exit of the S's. And the number 4, innocent of all crimes, it is going to be just a mistake from Maggio into the wall. Truck relatively undamaged considering the speed of the contact, but is going to fall back behind. Tristan going to the outside of turn number 1. Can't quite make it stick. Going to be pushed onto the runoff. And they're going to fall back in line. And now, just second up the road, Justin Rohr. It's going to be a crucial phase of this final stint for both these drivers. And to be fair, Justin as well wants to try and carry as much pace as possible to maximize the gain from this strategy. It's looking like it's going to be a great strategic call from Jordans-Meyer and Rort, having the pace to pull this one off. Exactly where I'm expected to pit pretty soon, and that will promote Bailey Thompson up to 8th place as well. Michael Walls up to 9th, Tony McCord up to 10th, also going for the one stop. But how does Cameron Caldwell navigate the challenge of Justin Rort here? Difference in lap time last time by just 4 tenths. There's definitely an early phase of the tyre that I think both drivers might have gotten have fallen out of. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get this one done. And Tristan going to look for any opportunity to try and clear. Again, number 17 wanted to pull level with Caldwell in terms of road course wins in the series. What is Caldwell going to be able to do? Tristan bats off a fair bit, actually, through there. A little bit of an awkward run through the bus stop. He has 2 lap pressure tyres, let's remember. He's going to have that advantage to the end of the race. Can try and manage that to preserve some life whenever he wants to make the attack. Cameron Caldwell just not able to get by Justin Rort here. This could be great news for Jonathan Jordans-Meyer, who's 7 seconds up the road, losing time to Fest, struggling a little bit more on his tyres in this second stint. But the longer that these two on fresh tyres get held up and they have to burn up and use the life of those tyres, it helps out Nathan Fuller, who's just a few seconds back now as well. Pruder and Maggio both falling out of contention in this one. Oh, news from the chat. Tristan might have damage to that right front wheel assembly from contact with the bus stop barrier. Got a great handle of it from there. But you see, that's what it should look like. That's what it looks like on the bumper of the number 12. You see, I can't quite see it from this angle actually. Oh, you can on that right-hand side of camera shot. The bodywork's bent out of shape. I'm not sure how much damage that's done to the performance and to the steering rack of the car. But he's doing a great job to keep the pressure on Cameron Caldwell. Might have just enough to send a move here. That's Poland just coming out of pit lane. Caldwell tries to find a move in turn 3 there. Can't quite get it done. And there goes Tristan Maher going for catching Caldwell flat-footed. They're going to be side by side into the bus stop here. Tristan has the inside line. But Caldwell sweeps around the outside and entry and manages to hold on to it. I forget the battle between these two. This could now be a battle between these two, Jordans-Meyer and Rort, for these positions. Again, all drivers have taken their final pit stop in this fight. I think all drivers may have taken their final scheduled pit stops. And Justin Rort just not letting any of them through, which is going to put huge pressure. They need to clear now if they want to try and get towards the 0-0. But we saw then a half-hearted move from Caldwell opened the door for Tristan Maher. There's always the threat there. Caldwell goes for it again into turn 2. Again gets his nose chopped off, but manages to block off the run from Tristan in 3. Does he have the momentum carried through? Does Levi Poland stay patient on those fresh tyres? He's got Justin Duran to try and get after a few seconds up the road. There's only so long you can wait behind before trying to unlap yourself on fresh tyres. And how patient is Tristan here? Tristan's seeing Caldwell make a clumsy attempt a couple times now to slow them both down. They're still 8 seconds back from Jordensmeyer. We're running out of time, just 17 minutes on the clock. These two have to get going. Caldwell not close enough for a move on Rourke right now. Is maybe going to try and just get the run through to defend from Tristan instead. Nathan Fuller is right there now, just behind Levi. It's now a three-way fight on fresh tyres. Justin Rourke ahead on the old tyres, but good to the end, we think. And then Jordensmeyer, who has complete daylight right now, 7 seconds. But as soon as one of these three gets through, there's going to be a lot of pressure to the end of the race. Poland isn't going to fight this one. He's going to get out of the way of Nathan Fuller. He's going to just watch this fight. Got the best seat in the house, you've got to say. And Caldwell, the tap of the wall. Is that going to open the door for Tristan Maher? He goes to the inside. They're going to be side by side across the line. Caldwell outbrakes into turn number 1 there, but can't turn in with Tristan there. And I think the number 17 might have gotten it done, and Nathan Fuller has followed through as well. Just a mistake in the final corner from Cameron Caldwell. Opens up the door for both of these drivers, but still, they have to clear the 76 and get towards double zero. Caldwell couldn't get it done. We've got 15 minutes left in this fight. Tristan Maher, ball's in your court now. How do you engineer this move around Justin Rourke in the 76? It's not team orders for the race lead. Jordensmeyer in a Ford at the front of the field, Justin Rourke in a Chevrolet, but to Tristan, it's not going to matter. It has the same effect. Cameron Caldwell, very, very leery off the final corner. Tristan catches some grass on the entry of turn 1. This could open the door for Nathan Fuller, and it will. The number 4 now up into 3rd place. He's been charging. He might have a chance at this move on Rourke as well. We only got 13 laps to go or so. This is going to be very difficult indeed. Got to close about more than half a second a lap to Jordensmeyer at this point. It's going to be so tricky. Justin Rourke has not won a road course race in this series. Jordensmeyer has not won a road course race. Nathan Fuller has not won a road course race. Justin Rourke, the only 3 drivers to win a race in this season. The other 2 looking for number 1. And the pace has picked up a little bit at the back of the field. The sun's starting to shine through. Nathan Fuller still has to try and clear the 76 at the earliest opportunity. Where's the setup going to be? Try and get the run through the S's here. Fuller, Rourke wide in turn 2, but is able to carry the momentum. Tristan Maher still in the picture. Cameron Caldwell still looking to pick up pieces. Justin Rourke still holding on for 2nd place right now. is astonishing, this one-stop strategy. And the trap position that it's given these drivers paying massive dividends at the end of the race. But Nathan Fuller so close now. Not close enough. It's going to be about a tenth of a second back into the braking zone. Has to slot back in. Now this could be the move. Confidently inside into turn one. Slight overlap. He's going to try and dictate this one. Going to try and get late on the brakes. He goes for it. Can Rort switch him back? No. Parts the apex in the number 4. They're going to still be side by side into the S's though. Full in a sweep round the outside of turn 2. Get back in line turn number 3. And finally, one of these fresh tyre winners. I say fresh tyres, now 11 laps on the stint for these drivers, is going to move into second place. Now has 6.5 seconds to get after Jonathan Jordensmeyer to deny the race win to the one-stop. Rort still on the podium, still going to try and defend from Tristan Cameron. But the real question now is going to be the delta battle between the 4 and the 00. Wants to gain, I'd say, maybe 7/10 a lap to give himself time to set up the move before the checkered falls. Justin Rort still doing a great job not letting that one overtake put him out of rhythm so far. Tristan gets right underneath the rear wing there. The rear spoiler, I should say. It's not really much of a wing, is it? And he doesn't like seeing Nathan Fuller run off up the road here. He knows he had good pace to fight these drivers. Couldn't deal with it. I mean, deal with the traffic in Caldwell with the undercut. And Raw on the alternate strategy call. Mar's going to be wide. He's going to do a little bit of rally crossing there. Caldwell has to go wide through the exit to hold on. That's Levi Poland into the wall behind. And Tristan's still going to keep fighting this despite having to defend it off track. Then he'll be side by side into turn number 6. And Caldwell will clear. And I think you've got to say deservingly picking up that position after the mistake from the number 17. He's going to fall back down to 5th now. And once again, give breathing room to Justin Rort. But this is the key fight. We say he needed 7/10 a lap. How much has he gained in this one? A full second. Nathan Fuller is not giving up on this race. He wants his first win of the season. Let's bring up that points graphic once again, because this is so important for the championship fight. Fuller currently in 10th place, currently just about in the playoff battle, but is vulnerable to a wild card picking up a win in the final few rounds. This, if he can make it through, would solidify those chances. Jonathan Jordensmeyer as well is not too far above the cutoff line. Would love the same thing here. But Fuller is just gaining and gaining and gaining right now. Has one lap truck to navigate of Justin Durand. But there's a response from Jordensmeyer. Last time by just 3/10 gained. Fuller's got to keep the pace up with 8 laps to go. Again, it's a time certain race, not lap certain. It could be a little bit less torque with 8 minutes on the clock as we head up through the S's here. Still a fascinating three-way fight for the final step of the podium. We've got Kerfen in 6th place, Kruger trying to fend off Steven Maggio, both drivers with trouble in this race. And then Thompson on debut still has some fuel save to do. He's fending off Mika Walls for 9th place on the back of the top 10. Cameron Caldwell trying to get past Justin Rort here. Justin Marr trying to pick up the pieces. And Nathan Fuller, who has gained a good couple of tenths this lap as well. We'll see what the lap times are across the line, where we really have a certain picture of what the driver's pace is. 14.3 for Jordensmeyer, 14.0 for Fuller. He's not quite gaining quickly enough now. He had that one lap of really good pace, but since then has been struggling to keep it going. He is clear of Justin Durand now, though. Thompson has fallen back behind Mika Wall. I think maybe a mistake from the number 27. In fact, let's try and catch a look at what's happened there, because it's picked up on the replay machine. The 27 at the lead of this shot. Deep in turn number 6. I think he had to downshift to try and slow it down. Ends up off course, keeps it out of the wall there, but loses position on Walls and is now just tasked with that fuel save fight to stay with our race leaders. Nathan Fuller now has gained quite a, not as much as he needs. 14.2, 13.8, still just 0.3 a lap. Jordensmeyer, I mean, there might be a question mark on fuel here, might be forcing the 0.0 into pushing more than you can really afford to, potentially. But the gap just is not closing at the rate that Nathan Fuller needs right now. Caldwell and Maher still stuck behind Justin Rort as well. We're doing a fantastic job here. Again, to both of these drivers at the front of the field. I don't think the one-stop was a dominant strategy here. I think the two-stop had so much potential. But drivers just not quite able to get through the field the way they'd want. The track position playing so crucial. Caldwell wide and Larry through the exit of turn number 5. They navigate past that lap truck of Justin Durand. And Maher keeping the pressure on Caldwell. But these one-stop drivers just able to carry enough pace on those old tyres. But when the battle graphic again, it's only 0.4 of a second. Again, it's not fast enough as we head into what is going to be the final 5 laps of the race. Jonathan Jordensmeyer has done a great job as Justin Rort's wide in turn number 1. Might finally give up these positions, has to rejoin safely, and will slot in behind both of them. Well fought race from Justin Rort, still has a top 5 to show from it and could still pick up the podium if these two have an incident fighting for the final spot. But all the news right now is going to be between Jordensmeyer and Full. Let's go on board, in fact, with the 0.0. And let's hear how much work he has to do to keep the fuel save going. The tyres are one matter, but what about that fuel number? See, running slow, but only 4 laps left in this one, and I think it could be 3. I'm not sure if Jordensmeyer is intentionally slowing the pace, but it's marginal about whether the white flag flies at the end of lap 59 here. We're on lap 58 right now. And this could be absolutely pivotal to whether Jordensmeyer has enough to make it to the end. Fuller is catching. Fuller has caught 0.6 that last time by. can see just up the straight here, from on board Nathan Fuller, is Jordensmeyer. We'll hop back on board with the 00. Just there's 2:28 on the clock. 7, 6, 5, 4. We are going to have 2 laps to go at the line. I'm calling it. Ignore what it says at the top of the screen. I think the white flag will be out next time by, and Jordensmeyer has 2.6 seconds here. Has only bled 8/10 last time by. If there were 3 to go, that would be marginal. I think if there's just 2 laps in the race, it's going to be a lot easier for the 00 to defend, especially if he knows he can go full push on fuel that final lap. Caldwell and Maher are side by side behind. Let's have a quick look back at this one. Enemy side by side into the bus stop as well. Caldwell again going to sweep around the outside and clear on entry. Maher going to try and switch back, but can't get it done. But again, this battle for the lead so close. Fuller 2 seconds back now from Jonathan Jordensmeyer. And this is the pivotal moment. Does the white flag fly? Barney, what do you say? And there it is, white flag in the air. This will be a 60-lap race. Final lap here at Watkins Glen. And Jonathan Jordensmeyer has 2 seconds to defend. They're side by side again, I think, in the battle for 3rd place. And then ignore what it says in the top left. The white flag is out on the flag stand. Jonathan Jordensmeyer just has to make it around through the bus stop and through 3 more corners. Fuller is a 1.5 seconds behind. If he just needs to clear a little bit earlier to have the runway, so maybe saved a little bit more tyre while sat behind, but obviously had to work up towards that fight as well. Jonathan Jordensmeyer. Come round the final corner. We'll get confirmation again from Barney. The checkered flag is going to be out here, and it's going to be the 00, Jonathan Jordensmeyer, who pulls off the fuel-safe strategy 1 stop and wins it here at the Glen. Battle for P8 here. Michael Kruder fending off Stephen Maggio. Again, these two contact earlier in the race. A mistake from Maggio brought Kruder back in. Kruder will hold on for P8 here. And Bailey Thompson on debut on the 1 stop as well will bring home 10th position. Final couple of drivers coming across the line. Tony McCorkle with the final driver on the lead lap. Let's get that celebration from our race winner. Fantastic call from Jonathan Jordensmeyer. Celebrations coming in from the GOAT Racing duo, Michael Walls, Justin Rourke, both drivers also on this strategy. It's always good confirmation to know that you made the right call on pit lane. But Jonathan Jones might have had the pace to win it ahead of Nathan Fuller and Tristan Maher. Let's bring up your final results before we go to our interviews. And it's going to be Jonathan Jonesmeyer by just 1.3 seconds over Nathan Fuller, doing a great job to hold on to that one under so much pressure. Tristan Maher holds on from Cameron Caldwell with Justin Raw, fending off that trio for so long, will hold on for a 5th place finish at the end of this one. Alex Kerfen will come home P6, a very quiet race from the 30 on that 2-stop, but a great run from Alex. And then Mika Walls fending off Michael Kruder and Stephen Maggio again on that 1-stop strategy. Those two very close together for 8th and 9th. And Bailey Thompson on debut comes home in P10. Zachary Wareham will come on P11 with Andrew Davis and Cody McCorkle. Final drivers on the lead lap. Those two again going for just a single pit stop. Justin Durand and Fidel Fabian finished 1 lap down and out of this race. Stephen Thornton, 7 laps down, kept pushing through and gets a 16th place finish out of it. And then Josh Coppenol and Levi Poland, both 8 laps down. I think Coppenol gets that on potentially a post-race penalty over the number 90. And then Rivers Jones, Shane O'Neill, and Jamie Wright, your final retirements, with Ryan Bodie opting to not start this one. 22 entrants for this race. So let's get a word, first of all, with our race winner here. It is going to be the 00 of Jonathan Jordensmeyer. Jerd, welcome to the booth and welcome to Victory Lane. The graphic was showing the wrong person there, but fantastic strategy call. We weren't sure. I thought the 2-stop was going to pay just too much time gain, but what a run from you to hold that pace on the 1-stop.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I'm very surprised it happened, but I mean, we got into the race and I saw we had 62 laps estimated. Obviously, it was time race saw, but it said it was estimated to go 62 laps, and we had about 29 laps of fuel. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not saving. I'm just gonna drive. But after Kruger hit, the estimated laps really went down, and it went down to 60. And I was like, okay, I could save a lap of fuel. I didn't even start saving gas until probably lap 20 or so. But I mean, it was just, I don't know how I ended up saving so much better. Justin was in the same position as me, but I was just able to save so much better by just lifting and coasting into the chicane. And yeah, it worked out. I guess I guess I used my F1 fuel saving skills, just lifting and coasting. But yeah, I'm surprised that we're here right now.
I mean, a fantastic show and really a purple patch for you right now. 2nd win in the Truck Series, leading in from September last year at Gateway, but second, first in your last 3 starts, and now very much locked into the playoffs. 2 races until we get to there. How are you looking forward to it?
I mean, I'm just really surprised that we're in this position right now where I'm running well and all that stuff. I'm just surprised that I'm having these good results, really, because I mean, after the first 3 races, I flipped in the last lap at Daytona, and I finished 29th at Vegas, and then I couldn't race Auto Club. So after those 3 races, I was like, man, I don't like this truck. I don't really know if I want to race things because I'm not very good at this. But you know, the results start coming, and it feels really good. I mean, fuel mileage is I don't think I've ever won a race. I'm fuel mileage in anything, but even like NASCAR heat. But I mean, it's just crazy that it worked out.
And we have a points update as well. Of course, you're locked in with that win basically now, but Knowing that up to 4th place, jumping Curfin, Maggio, and Caldwell with that race win. So, sets you up with a fantastic lead in as we go towards the last race of the season at Pocono and Atlanta. How you feel about those two?
Yeah. Pocono, I have no idea how that's gonna go. I don't really know how any of these races are gonna go, but I mean, I really like this playoff format. I think it really fits my driving style. Just how I race. I think it's more consistency than speed. I think I'm a consistent 3rd through 7th driver who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but so I think I could just rack up finishes in the playoffs and maybe end up having a good points finish at the end of the season. So I'm really excited to see how the season ends up going.
Well, I can't wait to see you in the playoffs. Of course, before you head out, shout out to sponsors. The floor is yours. Congratulations on a fantastic race win here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, thanks to you for the broadcast. It's really cool to have a win being broadcasted. Most of the leagues that I run, they just don't have a broadcast, so I never really get to do this and talk about my race after. So thanks for broadcasting. Thanks to all the guys. Justin tried. I mean, he did the strategy. He finished 5th. But I never really think I would have thought about saving fuel if he never brought it up. Micah also on the call. He started fuel saving from the start of the race, and I don't know how it didn't work out for him, but yeah. And all the other guys, Rivers, Steven, Andrew had a really nice run. I'm really happy for him. And thanks Justin for the scheme. I really like this paint scheme. It's way better than the scheme I started the season off with. So yeah, that's about it.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and now moving on to our 2nd place finisher. It's going to be Nathan Fuller in the number 4. Going for that 2-stop stretch, he committed early to it. Well, just a little bit of traffic, I think, really the deciding factor in that one. Talk us through it. Did you think about the fuel save, or were you committed to run that strat from the very start?
I mean, the idea was initially there, but by my estimations, it would have, been very, very close to try that one stop. And I knew I had some decent short mid-run pace, so I just was committed to the 2-stop from the get-go. I said, I'm just going to hit every 25 minutes and see what we can make of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you had a great run through the field, especially that final stint coming out of the pits. A good few seconds behind Tristan and Cameron, but just struggling to get around Justin Raw. You closed up to the back of them and picked them off one by one. Talk us through those overtakes and how you worked through to give yourself a shot at the front of the field there.
Yeah, I mean, I saw them, when I was 5-6 seconds out, dueling. So I was just trying to keep my tires relatively cool, so when I got to them, I could just send it. And I think it was turn 1, Cam went a little wide. I was able to throw it down the middle, and then with Rod, it was just a matter of finding the spot where I brake a little later, get it by, and then push onwards and see if we could catch up to Jurg.
Yeah, a great showing again, down to the wire in that battle there. But ultimately, it is going to be a 2nd place finish for you. It's going to be a good haul of points, move yourself into joint 8th position with Justin, and in the playoff picture right now. But a little bit of pressure coming into these final 2 rounds, I've got to say. Talk us through your confidence levels going into Pocono and Atlanta, and how you think you can solidify that spot in the top 10.
I mean, it's just make it to the end, really. I feel pretty good about Pocono. I mean, last time we went there, I did pretty well. And then Atlanta's Atlanta. That's a track of its own. So just got to do the best we can coming into Pocono and then pray to survive Atlanta.
Sounds like a plan. Well, of course, before we let you go, shout out to sponsors. Congratulations, the floor's yours.
Appreciate it. Of course, shout outs to BSR, all the Madman team hosting these races, having us go, and of course the streaming on JCTV, awesome as well, and then the family and friends watching, always cool to have them watching, especially when we get this close and pull in a 2nd place.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
And I've got one more driver to pull in. It will be the number 17. And we'll keep this one short because I know from your paint team that you're excited to see how the Sebring 12 ends. But congratulations, third place finish. Started from pole, had a good run early on with Michael Trudy, your teammate, but a little bit of trouble through traffic ended up costing you a little bit, and a fantastic fight with Caldwell and Raw at the very end of that one.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed with third. I definitely had the pace to win. I cost myself a couple times going into turn one, getting loose and messing up. Overall, I am happy with the pace that I had here, for sure.
And talk us through that. Do you think you had any chance of getting that one done, or was it just a one of those things where you couldn't quite get the long run going through traffic?
I think I was really, really good on the long run. I think I was really good on the long run, and I know I could have caught your 100%. I was a bit quicker than Fuller was. I was a bit quicker than Fuller was in the beginning of the race, and I only got better as the long run went. I just burned my stuff up fighting.
And of course, looking at the point standings, in 10th place, right on the playoff bubble here. But I believe with that race win, no, I'm mixing driver, sorry. So a little bit of pressure, you got to say, coming into the final couple rounds. Pocono, Atlanta. How is your confidence to try and get some points there to bring yourself back into the fight?
I just got to run consistent. I generally have pace. Most places we go, it's just all about me. I don't know. I feel like I always put myself in the wrong place at the wrong time. I can't. I know I make mistakes and I cost myself races and things like that. But this is racing and there is a bit of luck involved in certain things, and I think I've been on the short end of the stick the past couple seasons, last season and this season. I just gotta put my head down and get it done. I can't keep. I gotta make the playoffs. That's the goal. So next couple races, I'm just gonna put my head down and get it done.
That sounds like a plan. Again, I'll let you head off, but before, any shout out sponsors, the floor's yours. Congratulations.
Thank you. Shout out to you guys, or you, I should say, up in the booth. I always enjoy going back to watch the broadcasts, and shout out to the league, Radius Racing. My teammates always help me do better, and it's helpful to talk to them about strategy and things like that. So, yeah, shout out to them.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
And with that, our race weekend at Watkins Glen draws to a close. Road courses in the rearview mirror for this season, and up ahead, Pocono and the fast super speedway now of Atlanta. Two very difficult, very chaotic tracks to finish out the regular season campaign, with drivers fighting to try and lock themselves into the playoffs again. Durand and Fuller level on points right now, and effectively on the bubble, with that win from William Kempf, locking him in as a wild card. Tristan Maher 20 points behind with 2 races left, with Cody McCorkle a further 12 points adrift. But it's all to play for. Anything can happen, especially at Atlanta. You'll want to catch those last 2 rounds of the regular season, and then into the playoffs we go. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, from Pocono Raceway. But until then, I'm Olivia Hayward, where you can get all the action on JCTV, and we will see you next time.